In the shadows of the night we rise through the veil of time where truth lies. Peter J. Carroll, the spark in the dark, guiding our hands, igniting the spark with Liber Null and Psychonault's call. We stand united, we never fall. Magic woven in every thought, the secrets of the cosmos forever sought. In the magic of the new way we dance.
All right, so today we're going deep, deep into the world of magic and the occult.
Oh, wow.
With Peter Carroll's Liber Null and Psichonaulta.
Okay.
This book is, it's dense.
Yeah.
Fascinating, a little intimidating.
Right.
But we're going to unpack it all together.
Okay.
See how it applies to, understanding human potential.
Okay.
And I've got our expert here to help us navigate this mind-bending material.
I'm excited to be here.
So this book, it's not just about spells and potions.
Right.
Carroll, he approaches magic as a practical art with a physical basis.
Okay.
He even says the secrets of magic are universal and possess a physical nature of such a practical kind that they defy simple explanation.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like he's saying there's a science to it.
Totally.
There's a set of principles that kind of govern how it works.
Yeah. So what does he even mean by physical in this context?
So that's the big question.
Right.
It seems like Carroll believes that magic operates on principles we can understand and interact with, even if we don't fully grasp their complexity.
Okay.
So it's not about supernatural forces,
Yeah.
but it's about tapping into something that's inherent in the fabric of reality itself.
Okay. I'm starting to see the appeal here.
Yeah.
But how do you begin to tap into this physical magic?
Well, Carroll emphasizes empirical techniques over complex cosmologies, which is really a central tenet of chaos magic.
Right.
Instead of getting bogged down in these elaborate theories and rituals, the focus is really on what actually produces results.
Okay.
It's about experimentation, observation, and constantly refining your approach.
So less about dogma, more about what works for you.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. And to give it some structure, Carroll outlines a series of practices in Liber MMM that are designed to develop that mental control and those magical abilities needed for this kind of experimentation.
Okay, let's dig into those.
Yeah.
What are some of those core practices?
So he starts with something surprisingly simple: concentration.
Okay.
It's about training your mind to become laser focused. Right.
Being able to hold an image or a thought with just unwavering clarity.
Okay.
He even challenges readers to hold an object in mind with absolute fixation, an imperturbable stare, for more than a few moments.
Wow.
He admits it's extraordinarily difficult, but he says you must persist in this practice for hours.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
That sounds like such a mental workout.
It is.
Why is concentration so important for magic?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
If you can't even control your own thoughts,
Right.
how can you expect to influence the world around you?
Okay.
This level of mental discipline is really the foundation for all other magical practices.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like building the mental muscle
Exactly.
before you can lift the bigger weights,
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
What about the actual techniques,
Sure.
the spells?
The spells, yeah.
So to speak, air quotes.
He introduces 3 main magical techniques in Liber MMM:
Okay.
ritual, sigil magic, and dream work.
Each of those deserves their own deep dive,
Yeah,
but we can touch on the basics for now.
sure.
So ritual is about creating a structured environment and using symbolic actions to focus your will and intention.
Okay.
It's a way of tapping into the power of archetypes and accessing these deeper levels of consciousness.
It's not just about lighting candles and chanting then. It's
It's not just about that.
Yeah.
It's about creating a really powerful psychological and energetic space where you can really manifest your desires.
Go.
Then there's sigil magic, which is a technique for kind of bypassing the conscious mind
Okay.
and implanting your desire directly into the subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
You create the symbolic representation of your goal, you charge it with energy, and then you release it into the universe to manifest.
So you're basically hacking your subconscious
You could say that.
to work towards your goal.
Exactly.
I like that.
And finally, there's dream work,
Yeah.
which is about learning to navigate and influence the dream world, accessing the power of the subconscious through lucid dreaming, dream incubation, and other techniques.
Dream work has always intrigued me.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is. It's like tapping into another dimension of reality.
It is, and Carroll really emphasizes the importance of developing a banishing ritual.
Okay, now what's a banishing ritual?
Yeah.
Is that like warding off evil spirits or something?
Not quite.
Okay.
It's more about creating a clear and protected mental space
Right.
that's free from distractions and any kind of negative influences.
Okay.
Think of it like clearing your workspace before you embark on a challenging task.
Got it.
Setting your intentions.
Yeah. So it's about creating the optimal conditions
Exactly.
for magical work.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, Carroll also makes this distinction between white and black magic in Liber Lux.
Right. And it doesn't seem to be about good versus evil.
No, not at all.
With him,
He defines them as different approaches. So white magic focuses on understanding the universe, cultivating this sense of faith and wisdom,
okay.
whereas black magic emphasizes personal power, challenging limitations.
So the goal you're pursuing.
Exactly. One is more about knowledge and understanding.
Right.
The other is about power and self-reliance.
Okay, so how does he reconcile these seemingly contradictory approaches?
Well, he suggests that both approaches actually require accessing gnosis,
Okay.
which is a state of intense awareness.
Right, and that's the key.
He considers that the key to unlocking magical power.
Okay, this gnosis thing sounds pretty important. What exactly is it?
It's kind of a difficult concept to explain, but it's essentially about transcending the limitations of your everyday mind,
Okay.
achieving this heightened state of perception and awareness.
Right.
You know, imagine experiencing the world without the filters and limitations of your normal senses and thoughts.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It is.
How do you even begin to achieve that?
Yeah. Well, he suggests various techniques, including meditation, sensory deprivation, and even the controlled use of psychedelics.
Okay.
But it's not something to be taken lightly.
Right.
It's a powerful state that requires a lot of preparation and responsible guidance.
This is all so much to process, but I already feel like my understanding of magic is shifting from something fantastical to something much more profound.
That's the beauty of Carroll's work.
It is.
He challenges us to think differently about magic, about consciousness, about our own potential.
Now, there's one more concept I wanted to touch on before we move on.
Sure.
Carroll mentions liberation and the 5 methods to achieve it: sacrilege, heresy, iconoclasm, bioaestheticism, and anatheism.
Okay.
What are those about?
So these are less about specific spells
Okay.
and more about challenging conventional thinking and societal norms.
Okay.
Sacrilege involves questioning and rejecting those sacred cows.
Okay.
Heresy is about embracing unconventional ideas.
Uh-huh.
Iconoclasm challenges established symbols and beliefs. Bioaestheticism focuses on expressing your true self without limitations.
Right.
And atheism rejects the authority of external deities or doctrines.
Wow, that's pretty radical.
It is.
It sounds like a recipe for rebellion against, everything we hold dear.
Kind of, yeah.
But I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah.
To break free from those limitations and discover your own truth.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about forging your own path, questioning everything.
Question everything.
Even the things you hold sacred,
Absolutely.
in order to discover your own unique perspective and potential.
Yeah, that's the goal.
This is also mind-blowing, but there's still so much to unpack.
Yeah.
We've only just scratched the surface of Liber Null and Psychonaulta.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on the concept of the agoides or the theory of eons,
Right.
both of which are central to Carroll's system.
All right, well then we better dive back in.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So before the break, we were talking about these radical methods of liberation.
Right, like sacrilege and heresy and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And those lead us to another key concept,
Okay.
the agoides, or true will.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing that term a lot.
Yeah.
It seemed a little vague, though.
It can be.
What is the agoides?
Think of it as the most authentic expression of yourself.
Okay.
The driving force behind your actions and your desires, that deep inner compass that points you toward your unique purpose in life.
So not just what you want to do, but what you're meant to do.
Exactly. And Carroll describes the agoides as the most perfect vehicle of Kia on the plane of duality.
Kia, now that's another one.
Right. Kia is the term that he uses for life force.
Okay.
So it's that energy that animates all things.
Right.
And the agoide is kind of the most perfect expression of that energy within each individual.
Okay, so how do we discover our agoides then?
Well, that's where the great work comes in.
The great work. Now,
This ongoing process of self-discovery,
It-
peeling away the layers of conditioning and societal expectations to uncover that authentic self.
so experimentation, introspection,
Exactly.
challenging yourself.
All of that.
Sounds like a lifelong journey.
It is. It's definitely not a quick fix.
No.
But Carroll provides a framework for understanding this journey.
Okay.
He talks about eons,
Eons.
distinct historical periods that are characterized by different states of human consciousness.
Okay, so like eras. Historical era.
Exactly. He sees this progression
Yeah.
from shamanism to paganism to monotheism,
Right.
each eon kind of building on the last,
Okay.
leading to the emergence of a new chaotic eon.
That we're currently in.
Yeah, that we're entering right now.
So he's saying that there's a shift happening
There is.
in human consciousness.
Yeah, a shift in how we perceive and interact with the world.
Exciting and terrifying at the same time.
It can be both.
What does this new eon mean for our magical practices?
It means adapting and evolving,
Okay.
finding new ways to access and harness these emerging powers.
Right.
It's about embracing the chaos, the uncertainty, the fluidity of this new era.
Almost like we need a new operating system for
Yeah.
our minds to
Yeah.
navigate all of this.
And that's where Carroll's work comes in. It
Yeah.
provides that framework
To-
and a set of tools for navigating this new landscape.
Now, there's one figure we haven't talked about, Baphomet.
Right.
It comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty intense imagery.
There is. Baphomet's a fascinating and often misunderstood symbol.
Yeah.
In Carroll's context, it represents the duality of nature, the union of opposites, the power of the primal mind.
Yeah, there's a lot of reptilian symbolism with Baphomet.
There is.
A little unsettling, to be honest.
Yeah.
What's the significance of that?
Well, the reptilian imagery represents our primal instincts.
Okay.
The dragon mind that kind of resides within us all.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging and integrating those primal forces.
So not suppressing them,
No, not at all.
but using them somehow.
It's about embracing the full spectrum of our being,
Okay.
the light and the shadow, the primal and the evolved.
Okay, so true power comes from wholeness,
Exactly.
from integrating all aspects of ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. Starting to see how Baphomet fits in now.
Good.
There's one more concept that intrigued me.
Okay.
A little unnerving.
Right.
The psychic sensor.
Ah, yes, the psychic sensor.
What is that?
This is a key concept in understanding how magic works
Okay.
and why it can be so difficult to access.
Okay.
He describes it as a mental mechanism that protects us from the overwhelming and potentially destabilizing effects of magic.
So like a mental firewall,
You could say that.
protecting us from information overload.
Exactly. It's a filter that keeps us functioning in this everyday world.
Right.
But it also limits our access to those hidden powers and perceptions that Carroll believes we all possess.
Right. So it's helpful, but also kind of frustrating.
It can be
How do we get past it?
Well, that's the challenge that magicians have been grappling with for centuries.
Right.
Carroll suggests various techniques for bypassing or manipulating the psychic sensor, including gnosis, which we talked about earlier,
Right.
as well as ritual, sigil magic, and dream work.
So working with it,
Yeah.
not destroying it,
Not destroying it, exactly.
expanding our awareness, but staying grounded.
It's a delicate balance,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of practice, a lot of discipline, and a lot of self-awareness to navigate those boundaries safely.
This is all getting pretty intense,
It is.
but it's also incredibly empowering to think that we have this potential
we do.
to access all these hidden realms.
That's the beauty of Carroll's work.
It is.
It challenges us to question our assumptions, explore the limits of our consciousness, and discover the vastness of our own potential.
I feel like we've only scratched the surface of this book.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
There is.
We haven't even touched on Carroll's explorations in Liber Nox, his more intense practices, things like sorcery and the double, or even his concept of random beliefs.
Well, then we better keep diving.
Let's do.
All right, so we're back, ready to plunge even deeper into Peter Carroll's Liber Null and Psychonaulta.
All right.
You mentioned Liber Nox.
Yeah.
Some pretty intense practices.
It can get pretty intense.
Where do we even begin?
Well, Liber Nox is really where Carroll dives into the more challenging and potentially controversial aspects of magical practice.
Okay.
It's where he explores the raw power of magic and this concept of black magic as a means of breaking free from limitations.
Okay, this is where I get a little nervous.
I understand.
We talked about black magic before,
Right.
but this sounds like we're moving into darker territory.
It can be intense, but remember, we're not talking about good versus evil here.
Right.
It's about understanding these forces at play
Right.
and using them responsibly.
Okay.
So in Liber Nox, Carroll explores techniques like sorcery,
Okay.
which is the use of physical objects as focal points for magical energy.
So like talismans and amulets and stuff.
Exactly, things that you imbue with power.
Right.
But these objects become more than just symbols, right?
Yeah.
They're charged with this intention, and they act as conduits for the magician's will.
Okay, so it's not just the object.
Yeah.
It's the intention behind it.
It's the intention and the energy that's put into it.
That makes it powerful.
Yeah, he also gets into this concept of the double,
The double. Okay.
which is this kind of astral projection
Oh, wow.
that can be used for various magical purposes.
Wait, so astral projection, that's like sending your consciousness out of your body.
That's the idea.
Wow.
Carroll believes that we can train and develop our double to travel to other realms,
Okay.
communicate with entities, and even influence events in the physical world.
This is blowing my mind.
It's powerful stuff.
But this raises some ethical concerns, right?
Of course.
I mean, if we can project our will into the world,
Right.
what's to stop us from using it for harmful purposes?
That's the big question, and Carroll doesn't shy away from it.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of discipline,
Right.
self-awareness, and understanding the potential consequences of your actions.
So black magic is not for the faint of heart.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
There's a real danger of letting power corrupt you.
There is. Absolutely.
Well,
That's why these ethical considerations are so crucial, perhaps even more so in this realm of these powerful techniques.
right.
Now, another fascinating and somewhat controversial aspect of chaos magic that Carroll introduces is this concept of random beliefs.
Random beliefs, okay?
Yeah.
That sounds like the opposite of everything we've been talking about.
It can seem that way.
Why would you deliberately adopt beliefs that might not even be true?
It's more of a mental exercise,
Okay.
It's a way of shaking up your belief system and seeing what new possibilities emerge
Right.
by challenging those ingrained assumptions.
Right.
You can break free from those rigid thinking patterns and open yourself up to new perspectives.
So it's like a mental reset button,
You could say that.
clearing out the clutter to make room for new insights.
Exactly. It's about embracing the chaos, the uncertainty, and seeing what emerges from that state of flux.
Okay, so I can see how that could be useful.
Yeah.
I still have so many questions.
Of course.
What about this demon Karanzan thing?
Yeah, Karanzan.
That came up a few times, and it sounds pretty terrifying.
Karanzan is a complex symbol that often represents the fragmented, chaotic self.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily a literal demon,
Right.
but more of a psychological complex,
Right.
a conglomeration of our fears, desires, and limiting beliefs.
So like an internal demon.
More of an internal demon than an external entity.
Right.
And confronting this demon becomes a key part of the magical journey, right?
Okay.
It's about facing your shadow self, integrating those fragmented parts, and achieving this greater sense of wholeness.
That makes a lot more sense.
Good.
Like that saying, our greatest fears lie within.
Exactly.
Right.
And Carroll provides tools and techniques for navigating these internal landscapes,
Right.
for confronting and ultimately integrating those shadow aspects of ourselves.
This has been an incredible journey through some really mind-bending material.
It is.
I feel like my understanding of magic has been completely transformed.
That's great to hear.
It really has.
Liber Null and Psychonaulta is a challenging book,
Yeah?
but it's also incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
It offers a unique perspective on magic, consciousness, and the human potential.
I can't thank you enough for guiding us through this dense and fascinating material.
It's been my pleasure. Always excited to share these explorations with others.
And listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring on your own. Liber Null and Psychonaulta is a book that demands to be reread, pondered, and experimented with.
Absolutely.
Who knows what hidden powers you might discover within yourself? Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
With the wisdom to take every chance, through the chaos we rise and ascend, to the realms where the magic won't end. Carroll's voice in the stars, it's clear, a legacy of magic we hold dear. From Brazil to the world, his words did fly, in every language a spell to untie. Liber chaos, the key to the door, opening realms, we soar and explore. He spoke to the seekers, the brave and the wise, to break the chains and open their eyes. With each turn of the page, a new way to see the magic within, as vast as the sea. Through the chaos, through the storm.